What's up? What's up? What's up, beautiful people? It's Pretty Girl Love Trap Content, and we are here to discuss the upcoming season of BMF. Of course, that's premiering in approximately 28 hours. Okay, so I just want to come to you guys and just give my thoughts and just kind of discuss and chit chat about the upcoming season. Now, I did do a refresher. So I did 2 lives, and please feel free to check them out, of course, on my channel. I did a refresher for episodes 1 through 5, and then one from 6 to 10 of season 2. So please check that out because we're going to get into the things, okay? Let's see here. We have Monica M, Demarcus, Daria, RDRD, Derry. How are you guys doing? I hope you're having a lovely hump day. Okay, we almost there, guys. Friday is almost amongst us. We just got to keep holding on just for a little more while, okay? Please make sure you guys are liking this video, subscribe, do all the things to support your girl, okay? So let's just dig in a little bit to where I stand and where the show stood when they left us, okay, and the finale of season 2, right? So my favorite one in terms of storyline is Charles and Lucille. Now, in terms of what PG thinks, I think Charles and Lucille definitely, okay, carried season 2 for me. Okay, they actually superseded Meech and Terry's storyline, okay? Because we didn't know what, Freaky Chuck, that's what they call him, was up to, all right? So even though it's toxic, I gotta admit, that was definitely a good storyline. So shout out to Suburbia Jones. He's Team Charles in the building, okay? Well, Suburbia, I don't know. I mean, yeah, a lot of you guys are definitely Team Charles, okay? Just tell him to drink some ginseng or something, so he'll do a little better season 3, okay? Do y'all think we're gonna see Mabel? Are we done with Mabel? Are we done? Because I don't think she really got her just due. Yeah, Lucille gave her a nice little holy curse out, but Mabel need to get that work. And Charles too. We need to hold both of them accountable. All right. What's up, Candy? He says soggy. I cannot. But yeah, Charles, I don't know. But what do y'all think? It looks like, based on the trailers and the teasers that we have been given, it looks like possibly they are on a decent page, and I'm referring to Charles and Lucille, but based on the true life story, we do know that Charles and Lucille does eventually, of course, get divorced. But this is not necessarily a tight ship when it comes to this show and how it's correlating with real life. They are changing a lot of things. So I don't know. I won't be surprised if we see Lucille giving Charles a second chance, or just like, all right, Charles, you can just hit it and quit it, a few times out the week that you got to go on to your merry way. Maybe Charles is staying at the easy rest full time. I don't know. All right. But I did believe I saw a clip of Charles pretty much saying, financially, it doesn't make sense for them to break up. Okay. He's giving very much as cheaper to keep her, but I don't know. I do know eventually in real life, Charles, kind of goes to Atlanta with Meech. So I don't know if it was like a consistent thing in real life or if he was just there, because they was, having a car business. Charles's name was on, the main mansion, aka the White House that Meech was living in real life. So we don't know. I just feel like if Charles get a glimpse of the Magic City and all the things over there, he probably gonna be staying put in Atlanta because we already saw how he was in a script club in the deep. So I don't know. I do want the drama of Charles and Lucille, but are we gonna get it? Are we gonna get it? Because that was a hot topic last season. So I'm okay with them. I don't really want Lucille to go through it because we already know she's tired of being broke. She over it. I think at this point she gonna be like, all right, Meech and T, I don't agree with y'all doing, but y'all gonna do it anyway. So you might as well go ahead and slide mama a little allowance. Okay, pay some of these bills because I'm tired of working at Wendy's. As much, I can't do a 4 for 4, but so many, years. So we're gonna see. We are going to see Demarcus. You said Charles is fighting for his marriage. Yeah, but You wouldn't have to fight for your marriage if you weren't effing up the marriage. That's how it always be. You know what I'm saying? Suburbia, you said Lucille was trying to use sex as a weapon, so Charles had to go elsewhere. That's where we differ. But I don't expect, a lot of men do not understand the psyche of a woman. But I'm no relationship expert, okay? And this is not a relationship channel per se. But if y'all want to live about that, we can get deep, okay? If y'all want some advice, feel free to email me. My information is, in my bio, okay? And my Cash App is scrolling on the bottom of the screen if y'all need some assistance. Just kidding, y'all. Candy girl, you said 2 Pump Chuck had us upset for real. For real, y'all. Let me finish. Let me give me a little drink. And it's not alcohol. This is Arnold Palmer. Okay. DeMarcus, you said, why didn't Lucille work for the car service with Charles and Terry? Now, that was the plan, right? Because when Charles introduced the car service to Terry initially, that was the plan for Lucille to help, to work out. But that's possibly a good thing. We didn't put all of our eggs in one basket, because what did Terry eventually do? He pulled his, investment out. And of course, Charles, and that's the thing, they never really specified, to my understanding, that Charles, if he fully quit his job, I feel like he still kept his job, and was doing the driving on the side. But yeah, that wasn't gonna work. Charles bought 4 vehicles, had Denise, who seemed like was a full-time driver. Terry was doing school, selling drugs, and driving. So that was probably, a third of his day. And I could see Lucille, maybe the help out part that Charles was referring to was her doing like administrative work. We don't know. Lord, do Lucille even know how to drive? See, we don't have that. We don't have that. Suburbia, you say you will put me up on game. I think I'm good on the games. I'm good. I'm out the field. But I appreciate it. You can, maybe help, tutor the other women's in the trash. Exactly, Candy. Put Suburbia Jones on game with this comment, okay? But yeah, we're gonna see what's going on with Charles and Lucille, if they end up separating this season, if they try to, do a little hokey pokey and play around a little bit, or if Lucille is just gonna be done, okay? But it will be interesting to see them navigate other relationships if they go that far. I don't know if Pastor Swift will still be with us this season, but we're gonna see. All right. I don't know if the wig department could spare another big wig, because we do see 2 Chainz over there covering all those dreads, okay, with a wig. So we're going to have to see, y'all, how that pans out. Let's get over to an interesting part of what I am interested in more so in season 3, right? Because we left off with T and Marquisha being a victim of gun violence. Okay. Little Saint. I'm calling him Little Saint. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't just call DC Young Fly's character Saint. I don't know why. You already know the movie. If y'all don't, I'm sorry. But I'm calling him Little Saint from here now, forward. So please just get over it and get used to it. But based on real life, right? I don't recall T getting, shot again after the eye situation. They could change things up, but based on the previews, we do see Marquisha in the hospital. So I'm thinking that she's in the hospital due to gunshot wounds, even though T was kind of covering her in the vehicle. So I'm going to have to see. Of course, we'll have to see how that pans out, but that's kind of what I'm theorizing. That's why it could be an unrelated issue why she's in the hospital, but to me, it kind of makes sense possibly that she's in there because she possibly got shot. But it will be interesting because you would think if she got shot, T got shot as well. But you already know aerodynamics and vehicles and bullets, that's a whole nother thing. But I'm curious as to T and how he's going to handle, because he's going to be the king of the D, right? While Meech is over here, doing things in Atlanta. So I do, possibly want to see T and his managerial styles, because we know him and Meech differed a lot in regards to how they ran business. So I'm interested in how T is going to navigate being the boss, because of course, him and Meech always bumped heads. So I want to see how T handles this Little Saint situation, because we need some get back. You're not just gonna be over here shooting at me and my girl and get away with it. And I'm sure Little Saint probably is not going to go down, because what did we hear the detective state what happened when K9 went down is going to be a power vacuum, right? So everybody's going to be pretty much vying for the top spot. So Little Saint, I think that's one thing too. He wanted some justice for Boom, because Boom found out about Tia Marquisha. And of course, he's over there being passionate. Okay. So we're gonna have to see. I'm pretty sure we're gonna probably see DC on Fly. I don't really follow him, anywhere, so I'm not sure if he's been illustrating that he's been on set or anything. But I do expect to see him. But I do want to see when season 3 premieres how T is going to deal with this, because he's been a little inconsistent, right? Because he was all ready to give B Mickey the smoke, but he didn't want to smoke Lamar. So I don't understand. And then we also have this conflict, right? Because we are dealing with real life people here. And you already know the producers, the writers, everybody is driving home that BMF is non-violent. We don't condone the murking, the offing, the deleting, whatever you want to call it. All right. They're not trying to implicate themselves, because we already know statute of limitations when it comes to murking someone, there is none. So I don't know. I just feel like at some point, how creative can we be knocking people out of the way while, creating this mass empire without having some sort of violence? Definitely, I don't think we're probably going to see Meech and T directly off people. We may see them instruct them, but still, that's going to be icky, right? Because we had a situation with Meech and B Mickey last year when K9 gave him an assignment to off someone. And of course, we had a big debate on who actually pulled the trigger that, off the guy. So I don't know. We'll see. But T, he just can't be over here being soft. We know you like the administrative duties and whatnot, but we have to figure out how he's going to manage the D. And then it looks like Hoop is promoted to being his number 2. We're going to see who else actually comes up and, be a part of the crew and everything over here in Detroit, y'all. DeMarcus, what's up, Shayna? How are you doing? DeMarcus said it would be interesting if Shane and B Mickey team up against Terry, the King of Detroit. That would be interesting. And I did, think about Shane, because of course I was doing a rewatch. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd come back in the fold trying to get some type of revenge. Because I also was thinking, where is Sterling going to lie? Is Sterling going to be in this season? Is he going to go to Atlanta and be Meech's number 2? Like, I'm just curious. And I also, from my understanding, J-Mo, who's a real life person, he seemingly to be possibly Meech's number 2. So I'm wondering if we're going to bring him in the fold. Because when I watched the documentary, the Atlanta portion, covered a lot of Meech and the rap scene. So I have to recall what year we are in right now, in terms of season 3. DeMarcus, I'm sure you can let me know in the chat. But I expect to see a lot of back and forth between Atlanta and Detroit for this particular season. Speaking of Detroit again, are we officially done with the Lamar character? I don't want to see crackhead Lamar terrorizing Detroit at all. Like, I don't want to deal with it. Let me know in the chat how y'all feel about Lamar. I feel like it's done. We don't need to drive this home anymore. This horse is deceased. Okay, we do not need to keep beating it. So I pray to dear Lord, okay, no more Lamar. I'm over it. Okay, he was really around way too long anyway. But let's get into because I want to kind of go through all the Detroit storylines. So let's get into a storyline I really don't care about, but it did pour on my heartstrings just a tad bit with Detective Bryant and Little Kevin. We see now, of course, there are a lot of new characters in the fold. Cynthia Bailey from Housewives of Atlanta, she is going to be Kevin's mom. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on, because I do see in the preview there is a scene with Detective Brian and Cynthia. I'm sorry, I don't have the character's name. But they're in the cemetery. So I'm trying to exactly figure out if something happened to little Kevin. Because we already know that little baby is not meant for cell block D at all. Okay. So I don't know if he's going to try to off himself or what's going to happen, but I'm interested to see this dynamic with Detective Bryant, his ex-wife, and the Kevin situation. I kind of feel sorry for Kevin, but I don't, because he was a little delusional when it came to this whole situation with the Blicky. And I also want to know if we actually get him for the 3 bodies, for Kato, J-Mo, and little, I believe is Marcus, his bully. So we're going to have to see what's going on with that. And Detective Jen is still going to be around. She's not feeling Detective Bryant at this moment. Well, at the moment of the finale. So we're going to see. And then, of course, Detective Bryant seemed to be suspended. We don't know if he actually is going to fully lose his job. It looks, I mean, based on him suppressing evidence and just really doing a lot. I can see him not even having his job no more. Maybe he can have a private sector, be a private investigator or something, do something else with his time. But I don't know if I see him in a police department too much longer. Okay. Thank you. I did actually see that. And I thank you for reminding me. Yes, DeMarcus, Cynthia Bailey is going to be Gloria. SJ Smith, what's up? You said 50 Cent and Lamar is getting his own spinoff. Was 50 Cent trolling or not? We already know. We got to be very careful when it comes to what 50 Cent. Now, I believe him in terms of making things happen. That is not what I am, concerned with. Is the fact that we know he's a professional troll. Okay. So what is going to be? Crackheads going wild? Like, what is the spinoff going to be? I don't know if I'll be here for. Okay, we already have the corner and such as things like that. I am not interested in a Lamar spinoff at all, unless it's in in heaven and he could be with Ronnie somewhere having fun. I don't know. Dear, you said you wanted Lamar to go away. Haven't we all? Don't we all? Okay. SJ Smith, you said Brian is going to be police the entire show because we saw him arrest Otis last night. See, that's the thing. We didn't really see him arrest him. He was there, but it seems like in a different capacity. So it didn't really necessarily seem, he was a full cop from my perspective. Now I can rewatch it again, but it looked, because we see Leslie Jones, like she was the one really calling the shots, and she was kind of possibly, he was possibly tagging along. They did mention, that the Flannerys did ruin Detective Brian's life. Of course, now we know it's his son, but I also feel like to some capacity, at all capacity, it was in regards to his career. But I could, I'm no expert. I could be wrong, but from my recollection, from that scene, you can tell, Detective Brian possibly wasn't like a full cop, if you will. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm human. So yes, we're gonna see Detective Brian, how all that pans out. Of course, we know Monique is no longer. R.I.P. to Monique. I'm gonna miss Cash Doll on the show. T, it looks like he's having some custody issues with baby number 2 and LaWanda. So we're gonna have to see how that pans out. I don't know if somebody over there snitching about Terry and what he doing out here in these streets, but we're gonna have to see, y'all. But that's about it pretty much in regards to T and Detroit, right? So let's slide on over to Meech and the shenanigans in Atlanta. Okay, let's just start off by saying we need justice for Ty. Okay, Young Miami told y'all. She told us in her, impeccable acting skills, she instructed Meech to get whoever is responsible for her husband, Ty, right? So we already know Remy is looking like he's going to be the ops in Atlanta, right? At least one of them. So he's pretty much responsible. So I'm interested in how they're going to navigate knocking Remy off the board, right? Now we know Meech to be an impeccable salesman, right? So I do feel it is possible they can write it to where Meech will have that glorious speech to Remy, you know, come to death row. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do to get Remy off board, but it doesn't look like Remy is going to back down. So we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with that. Meech has some other possible issues. Now, I don't know, you know how these shows tend to do, right? They introduce characters and names at the end of one season, but sometimes they end up just completely scrapping the idea for the next season. So Monique, aka Goldie, told Meech. Now, when we had to murk Mike, Monique told Meech, we got to look out for Robert Fulton, okay? He's a part of the mob, and Mike was their big earner. So if Robert Fulton for somehow find out that Meech helped Goldie off Mike, Meech gonna have a problem. So my question is, are they gonna bring in an element of the mob in here? Now, from my recollection in real life, I don't recall any mob dealings when it comes to BMF. But we already know the writers, they have their own liberties. So I don't know if they're even going to introduce that particular part of the storyline. We're going to have to see. I do expect Meech to be over here in the script clubs and having big fun at the Red Chit, as Cosby show, you know, mentioned what that Vanessa was doing, right? So we're going to see, because Monique did refer Meech to Magic City, so it looks like he's going to be cleaning his money through there. I don't know if they're going to go as far as to introducing the music element yet, you know, with Jeezy and everybody. I feel like that's going to be, of course, down the line, but we don't know. I don't think there's going to be a time jump in the initial part of the season, but we may see if there's going to be a time jump throughout the season. That typically doesn't happen, but this is like a 20 to 30 year story. So it's hard to really comprise all of that in this show. So we don't know how far this show is going to go and how much they're going to cover. DeMarcus, you said, I hope Darnell GQ Simmons is in Terry's back pocket. Yeah, I always had a side eye to Detective GQ. We're going to see. We're going to see, y'all, because I don't know. I always had a side eye. And that's another thing I also wanted to mention, right? Pertaining back to Detroit. Now, Boom was over there snitching. He was over there singing like a bird. Are we going to have to deal with that at some point? That's my question. And mainly, I don't know. I feel like the police department is going to be very careful on how they deal with anything that Detective Bryant was associated with, right? Because we can't trust him at this point, because he was over there doing shady things and suppressing evidence and whatnot. So we're going to see what the superiors say. But I hope to see Detective GQ again. I do think it's something there with his character. I also want to see more of Roland. Looks like he's going to, you know, he's a part of the crew, whatever. He seems more, of course, as Meech's best friend more than Terry, but he was a neighbor, so he pretty much was both of their friends. But I like his character. I like the actor. So I wonder if we're going to see more of him. I hope so. SJ Smith, you said they never give exact years in this show. Season 1 was in 1980 or something. Season 2 was late 80s, so season 3 probably be early 90s. Yeah. If it's definitely early 90s, I don't foresee, of course, any music aspect, because a lot of that was for the 99 and the 2000. Okay. So we're going to probably have to wait another season or 2 for that. DeMarcus, you said Cena should have something to happen to Peaches and K9. That may be interesting, because we already know K9 was willing to snitch on Cena, and Peaches was telling all of the things. Okay. Peaches was telling everything: stash houses, bodies, weapons. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, now I'm not an advocate of violence, okay, but Peaches was doing a lot, okay. So I wouldn't be surprised of that, right? So let's see here. Yeah, so I expect to see Meech over there in Atlanta, but of course, he would. There was another young guy, and I apologize, the name left me. But it's right in the tip of my tongue, guys, and I apologize. But it was another dealer, and he stated that he had pretty much people from Atlanta to Houston, right? So I do see, that's going to be sprouting with Meech not only being in Atlanta, of course, getting roots all throughout the South. I don't know how much Terry's going to do in terms of spreading. We already know they have people in Ohio. So I don't know if we're going to see Terry managing a lot of the North, or if Meech is really going to handle everything in Terry. Because see, look, this is the problem. Terry's head is so far up Markeisha. I feel like he's going to do, I don't want to say he's going to do the bare minimum, because we already know he's a very smart person, but I feel like she is going to be a distraction for him. And I feel like she's going to take a lot of his time. Because we already know, in real life, seemingly based on the documentaries, Terry, he was a homebody. He just wanted to eat his little lobster and steak, have his little Cartiers on, and have a good time with his woman. He seemed more like a family man, while Meech was out there in them streets. Okay. So I don't know. But thank you so much, DeMarcus Dice. I appreciate it. See, resident stars historian over here. I'm giving you your flowers, DeMarcus. And this is another thing, guys. We do know that there is a rift that will occur with the brothers, right? And of course, it doesn't really seem to happen in the early 90s, but I wonder if they're going to introduce more of a rift in this season, because we know they're 700 miles apart now. The communication is going to be iffy. Terry always thinking, he's low-key the boss. Meech always thinks he's the boss, even though he's the older brother. So I'm interested in how we're going to see a lot of them clashing or not in this season. Of course, it's going to happen eventually, but I wonder if they're going to introduce that this season or not. But yeah, let me just talk about a couple things that I do and don't want for season 3. Okay, my little wish list. Let me know what y'all would prefer to see and what y'all don't want to see for season 3. I'm gonna just start off by saying I gotta have me a good amount of Charles and Lucille. Okay, I don't care what aspect and what capacity. I gotta have me some Charles and Lucille. Okay, and what I don't want to see, and we already talked about this, but I want to say it again. I do not want to see or hear about Lamar Silas. Please and thank you. Okay, I don't even want to see him on a corner. Terry over there getting him a burger. I don't want to see Lamar begging for change. I don't want to see it. So, writers, I know we love the actor, great performance, but I don't want to see it. And I feel bad a little bit because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to stop anybody beg. Of course, I don't have no power, but I don't want to see it. Please and thank you. Okay. I do want to see more realism per se, because this is the thing. This is based on a true story. They take their liberties and they have to change a few things with the pacing, because we are grouping in a lot of time span in 45-minute episodes, right? But I feel like there's a way to still keep integrity of this story via this show without having too much goofiness. Okay, shout out to Brillo. I do not want to see a bunch of mess. And this segue to the trailer where we see a woman seemingly the ops with a flamethrower. A flamethrower, you guys. Why do we need this? Why? I have not seen any story about a flamethrower and a woman in real life story. Like I said, I understand this is loosely based. They mention it in the beginning of every episode. Loosely based. Why do we have to get loose as a goose over here? Like, I don't understand. So let me just let you guys know. Based on my personality and just how I'm set up, I'm going to cover the show in its entirety. But do not be surprised on Sunday morning when I review it. I'm going to be over here complaining. Because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see. We already have a lot of shows. And like I said, these are like, and this is the thing. We have Power Book 2, right? Which I consider a fantasy drugs show. We don't need that over here with BMF. Okay, we absolutely not. We have enough good content in this story in real life to pull from than to introduce the shenanigans. Okay. I'm just saying, I don't want to see this flame blower situation, but we're going to have to see it. So we're going to have to judge for ourselves. And when that time comes, we're going to have to be honest with ourselves. Is it really necessary or not? I can already say on rip, it's not. But hey, I didn't grow up in Detroit, so I don't know what they was doing up there. But it seems though, my Detroit correspondence is not happy with it either. So we're going to see. And I do want them to still, illustrate how smart these brothers are in terms of how they was able to grow their business. Of course, we know Meech sells, he's the salesman of the century, if you let me tell it. Okay. So I do want to see more of that. I do want to see T smarts. I do want them to illustrate how, smart he is when it comes to, just the money aspect, how to secure, the secrecy of the business, if you will, whether it's money laundering or what have you. So I do want to see, those elements, because the core of this story is, they're legends in their own right, So a lot of things and aspects of CEOs of legit businesses, we see in these two brothers here, they just happen to be in a legal business. Okay. So I do want them to continue to show how smart these brothers are and how they navigate taking over the United States. Okay. Before I get into the next thing, let me see what y'all want to see and what not to see. Okay. Candy said, please do not have You Can't Stop the Rain begging for nothing, not even booty. Oh my God. Lamar, you didn't think, if he didn't have standards when he was sober, he definitely not going to have standards as a crackhead. Okay. Shout out to Judge Mathis. Okay. I'm just saying. DeMarcus, he said no X scenes between Jen and Brian and Charles and Lucille. Please. Yeah, that would be top on my list too, DeMarcus. So we are definitely here. Even Candy said, I finally agree with you, DeMarcus. Oh, we over here bonding, sharing the same sentiments and whatnot. I appreciate it. What's up, HEA? You said on the train on your way home from work. All right, girl. Make sure you're over there, clutching that bag, giving the performers they room when they over here back flipping and doing what they do. Okay. Shout out to you, HEA. I hope it's the express train girl. Let's talk about the new additions, child. Oh my God. Speaking of not wanting to stop nobody's bag. Now, PG is an advocate of spreading your wings, okay? We have the likes of R. Kelly saying, I believe I can fly. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that, artists can travel throughout different mediums, whether it's music to acting, etc., etc. We see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? We see Will Smith, Queen Latifah, the likes of, these great legends, right? I particularly feel already before the season start that we don't need to have all these extra people over here in this season. We have the likes of Saweetie, we have Little Baby, we have Neo, we have 2 Chainz, and I mentioned Cynthia Bailey earlier, but she's more of a model, reality star, versus a rapper, right? But she's kind of included in this for me, right? Because acting is a new realm for her per se. She's had other roles, but we're talking about BMF. I just hope we're not we're not overkilling here. I just hope we're not doing too much. Now I know I now appreciate 50 Cent for really putting people on. I don't want to give him full credit, but I'm going to give him some credit because I don't know exactly how much pull he has in terms of the actors getting through the casting and everything, right? But I'm a little nervous, you guys. I'm a little nervous. I heard good things about Neo, his acting ability, right? Because I do feel he was actually on a few other shows prior. So I don't have any qualms about him, 2 Chainz, I don't really know. Okay, the wig is definitely giving me Pastor Swift, but I don't know. 2 Chainz is going on 50. So to my understanding, he's playing a younger guy. Not saying you can't interchange, but I don't know. We're going to have to see. So Weedy, I hope you can do better than Young Miami. Okay. Please and thank you. I'm just going to give you a please and thank you in advance, because I don't want to get my blood pressure raised. Okay. I only got a few more pumps left in my inhaler right now. And I don't have time to be playing with y'all for 3 months. Okay. And then we have little baby. This is probably my most questionable addition, right? Because, and shout out to Lil Baby, I love his music, but I've seen this person in interviews and whatnot, and I know there was a lot of alleged Percocets and things going on in the body. You know, I'm sure he's probably, the brother cleaned himself up for this role. I don't have that. Messes my thing, right? I don't feel like any of them came into this just thinking, oh, I got this, and real cocky, whatever. I do feel like to some level they've done the work to prove themselves. I just don't know if their work is going to really it's really going to just illustrate and translate on camera for us, especially the likes of, like a Charles and Lucille. They are thespians, okay? Not saying they're going to be in the same, scenes with them, but I'm just saying this is what we're dealing with here. And yes, in this show, we do have a lot of different range of experience. And sometimes, you do have to start off and put your little baby toe in the water to see if this is for you. But I'm just going to say, you guys, I don't know how I feel about it. What's up? This is it Reactions. How y'all doing? Like I said, I love y'all channel. Please subscribe if y'all not already subscribed. You said that's a lot of non-actors. LOL. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We already just went through this actors, and writer strike, okay? Then when nobody available, everybody, voicemail came on when y'all called. Like, all right, y'all, I'm gonna give it a chance. But don't, just letting y'all know, I'm a glass half empty type of gal, okay? So Marcus, you said we need to see more LaWanda and Lori this season. Yeah, I do like their characters. I do. But since Meech is in Atlanta, I don't foresee too much interaction with the, baby mama Lori or whatever. But I do feel like, I'm not sure. No, I actually did see LaWanda. Of course, she's going to be in this season, but I don't know if I've seen any content with the actress who plays Lori. She's over here having a good time with Joey Badass, okay? Because that's her boo in real life. So she probably like, my man got 2 jobs, okay? Shout out to everybody hates Chris, okay? She's like, my man got 2 jobs. I don't need to do this no more, okay? But y'all, that's pretty much, my take and my little thoughts on season 3. Of course, premieres Thursday nights, technically Friday mornings. I do my reviews Friday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you're not aware. So if you are new here, please join this journey with me. I'm going to be honest, okay? Not one of those people who just be, everything looks great. That's not me, okay? I don't necessarily like to, I'm not a hate watcher, but I do love this story. I just hope they are going to improve more when it comes to the content. I did find myself when I did the rewatch of season 2. It's weird because it's only been a year or so. It didn't age well to me. It didn't age well. It wasn't horrible, but I do think they have a lot of opportunities to improve, per my opinion. Just my opinion, okay? But that's about it, you guys. If you have, if you're watching a replay, please, like the video. Please subscribe. Please share. Do all the things to support me. Okay, little channel, little old me. All right, and let's get down to comments. Let's have fun, and another show, another season. Let's see here. Tomorrow we have the Pretty Thorough podcast at 8:05. And that's about it right now. I do have a couple of things in the works, but I'm not going to share. Okay, y'all will find out eventually. Demarcus, you said Hoop needs to catch a body. Why does he need to catch a body, Demarcus? Why? Can we not sell drugs without having to murk nobody? Okay. But we're gonna see. We already know Terry definitely is on his Martin Luther King of drug dealing. He don't like to really inflict violence unless it's B Mickey. So we're gonna have to see. And that's another thing. Are we gonna see anything about B Mickey, or are we completely done? I don't know. I pray for B Mickey because he was out here having a whole bad season. So shout out to him. Prayers to him. Good night, Derry. Thank you for coming through. Y'all, please make sure you like the video, subscribe. Now, if I would say if there's a lot of shenanigans going on, I would do like a random live at the end, but I don't think I'm doing no immediate reactions for BMF because honestly, we already know for the most part what their story is. So y'all probably not gonna see that unless something on there really annoys me or really gets me excited. But other than that, see y'all Sunday mornings regarding the BMF, and we're gonna see what they up to. And word on the street is real Big Meech may be coming out soon, so that's gonna be fun, right? That's gonna be fun. But y'all, thank you. See y'all on the next one. Toodles.